and they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Ludacris going in on the verse, cause I never been defeated and I won't stop now. Keep your hands up, get them in the sky for the homies that ain't making it, my folks locked down. I never went nowhere, but they saying Luda's back. Blame it on that contour, the hood call it Luda Yak. And I'm on this foolish track, so I spit my foolish flow. My hands go up and down, like strippers' booties go. My verses still be serving, tight like a million virgins. Last time on a college remix, now I'm on the original version. Can't never count me out, y'all better count me in. Got 20 bank accounts, accountants count me in. Make millions every year, the South's champion. Cause all I do, all I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Swerving in my low, head on the swivel, you know serving me's a no-no. Clean as a whistle as I pull out in my Rolls Royce. Yellow bone passenger, they see it, they say, oh boy. Tell Cali, back it up, my niggas call me loco. Down for armed trafficking, don't make me pull that fofo. Ask you what you laughing at, represent that mud life. Dirty money, bitch, you better get your mud right. We come together holding hands and holler hood life. We all strapping all black, it's like Bud Light. You riding or what? Cause we riding tonight. Now you riding with me cause you wasn't riding.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Heat in the kitchen, pot on the stove, water getting boiled, dope being sold, Snoopy in the hookie, system overload. I've been running this rap game since I was 20 years old. I hung with the worst of them, bust till I burst them up, floss them up, toss them up, harder way, close them up. Pardon me, I'm bossing up, brace you up, bless you, bro, don't mess with us. We like the U in the 80s. Back to back, set a track, hit the lick, get it back, get the trick, jump the track. Bitch, I want my money back. Time and time again, while I'm sipping on this gin. Al Davis said it best, just win, baby, win.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone, and hope you're having a wonderful weekend. So, I want to first of all welcome us to this amazing session, Data Analytics Workflow by Data Tribe. For some of us, Data Tribe is a familiar name, we're already used to it, but for others, this will be the first time we're hearing about Data Tribe, and I would like to introduce us to Data Tribe. Data Tribe is a vibrant community of data enthusiasts and professionals dedicated to bridging the gap between learning and real-world impacts. Founded to support aspiring and early career data practitioners, we provide mentorship, hands-on projects, and collaborative opportunities that empower members to build confidence and practical skills. So if you want to ask me, how will you join this community? How will you be part of this community? The link is attached below, and you can actually scan the QR code on our screen right now to join the community. So not to take too much of our time, we'll dive straight into the business of today. Let me take this opportunity to introduce our teacher, our tutor today. For some of us, Byron is a familiar face, but for others, let me take our time to go through his profile. Byron is a data professional. Pardon me. Byron is a data professional with hands-on experience driving impacts in top organizations like Zenith Bank PLC, Relief Africa, Action Venture Labs, Decagon, ALX, and many others. He has led data engineering teams, mentored technical talent, and delivered business insights that solve real challenges. His journey spans corporate leadership, startup, freelancing, and volunteering, all fueled by a deep passion for teaching and empowering others. He doesn't just build dashboards or reports, he helps data professionals turn knowledge into action that move businesses forward. So thank you, and join me in welcoming Byron. Hope you're all with our writing materials. If you have any question, you can actually use the chat box or use the Q&A section. So let me hand over to Byron.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. Hello, hi. Good evening from this side. Let me see thumbs up if you can hear me. You can just do some thumbs up there in the chat, or yeah, just click on thumbs up. You can react. Or is there no reaction here? Okay. All right. But you can meet the chat, right? You can just type something in the chat, like hi, hello, or where you're coming from, where you are attending this webinar from. Yeah. Oh, don't tell me this chat is not accessible.
Yes, the chat is disabled currently.
Oh, so sorry about that. Okay, so just give me a minute and let me try and fix that. All right. Meanwhile, let's enjoy some music as I fix it.
DJ Khaled. Hey. Yeah. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Ludacris going in on the verse, cause I never been defeated and I won't stop now. Keep your hands up, get them in the sky for the homies that ain't make it and my folks locked down. I never went nowhere, what they saying Luda's back. Blame it on that contour, the hood call it Ludayak. And I'm on this foolish track, so I spit my foolish flow. My hands go up and down, like strippers' booties go. My verses still be serving, tight like a million virgins. Last time on a college remix, now I'm on the original version. Can't never count me out, y'all better count me in. Got 20 bank accounts, accountants count me in. Make millions every year, the South's champion. Cause all I do is
win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Swerving in my low, head on a swivel, you know serving me's a no-no. Clean as a whistle as I pull out in my Rolls Royce. Yellow bone passenger, they see it, they say, oh boy.
DJ Khaled. Hey. Yeah. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Ludacris going in on the verse, cause I never been defeated and I won't stop now. Keep your hands hands up, get them in the sky for the homies that ain't make it and my folks locked down. I never went nowhere. What they saying, loot is back. Blame it on that contour. The hood call it Ludiac. And I'm on this foolish track, so I spit my foolish flow. My hands go up and down like strippers' booties go. My verses still be serving, tight like a million virgins. Last time on a college remix, now I'm on the original version. Can't never count me out, y'all better count me in. Got 20 bank accounts, accountants count me in. Make millions every year, the South's champion. Cause all I do is
win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get enough. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Swerving in my low, head on a swivel, you know serving me's a no-no. Clean as a whistle as I pull out in my Rolls Royce. Yellow bone passenger, they see it, they say, oh boy. Tell Cali, back it up, my niggas call me loco. Down for armed trafficking, don't make me pull that fofo. Ask you what you laughing at, represent that mud life. Dirty money, bitch, you better get your mud right. We come together holding hands and holler good life. We all strapping all black, it's like Bud Light. You riding or what? Cause we riding tonight. Now you riding with me cause you wasn't riding.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get it up. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
Heat in the kitchen, pot on the stove, water getting boiled, dope being sold, Snoopy in the hookie, system overload. I've been running this rap game since I was 20 years old. I hung with the worst of them, bust till I burst them up, floss them up, toss them up, harder way, close them up. Pardon me, I'm bossing up, pressure up, bless you, bro, don't mess with us. We like the U in the 80s. Back to back, set a track, hit the lick, get it back, get the trick, jump the track. Bitch, I want my money back. Time and time again, while I'm sipping on this gin. Al Davis said it best, just win, baby, win.
All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Got money on my mind, I can never get it up. And every time I step up in the building, everybody hands go up. And they stay there, and they say yeah, and they stay there. Cause all I do is win, win, win. And if you going in, put your hands in the air, make them stay there.
All right. I am back. Yep, sorry about that. You know, we expect some technical glitches sometimes. Okay, so you can hear me, thumbs up. Can we try that if the reaction is working? If you can hear me. Okay, awesome. So I can see the charts now. Awesome. All right. Okay. It's one of those things anyways. Yeah, so you are very much welcome to another webinar in Data Tribe. Some of you might be attending for the first time. You are still very welcome. Okay, so because of the little time we have spent, and I know a lot of us have busy schedules, some just came from weddings and other events. So let's dive in. All right, so today promises to be interesting, okay, because I really want to enjoy myself as well. All right, so somebody says you can't hear me. I think other persons can hear, right? So if you can hear me, thumbs up. So I'm sure it's not from my end. Okay, yeah, so yeah, some people are saying they can hear. Oh, okay, awesome. All right, thank you very much. Yep. Well, she's okay. Okay, I think the chat is going to make the person know. I wanted to tell the person other persons are hearing, but the person can't hear me. So yeah, let's move to what we have here. Okay, yeah, that's why I needed the chat to be up, right? Because I like an interactive session. So when you see this, what comes to your mind? So this is like an art session. When you see this, what comes to your mind? Let's see what we have in the chat. When you see this, what comes to your mind? Yep, let's go, let's go, let's go. Hit it, hit it, hit it. Training, okay. Artisans, okay, nice. Technology, workshop, creativity, apprenticeship, mentorship, technical, the process. Awesome, awesome. All right, so this is very interesting. Okay, so this is more like an art timeout. I want to introduce something that is in the pipeline to us. Now, this is what is happening, or what I believe is happening. So learning is going on, right? We agree, isn't it? Learning is happening. Now, but this learning is not in classrooms. Okay? We are trying to establish a point and we all agree, right? The learning is not in classrooms. And what happens? But it is happening right where the action is. So everything you said is true, right? It's a process. There is some technical stuff there. It's a practical training, mentorship, and all those stuff. Okay. Now let's see what we are going into. So this is in a general term called apprenticeship, isn't it? You understand what it is because a large population here are Nigerian, so we know what this apprentice stuff do, isn't it? So these are young apprentices in Africa that are mastering trades, okay? Construction, woodworking, so it's very relatable. They are not reading manuals and they are understanding and learning by doing, they are watching, and they are practicing. Now, one very important part of this stuff is they are with experienced professionals, okay? And these professionals are guiding them. They are guiding every step. You can see the every is very bold, right? Okay. What am I trying to express here? I'm introducing you to something that is in the pipeline, and this should be the first of its kind. I'm sure of Nigeria. I don't know about other countries, but this is the first of its kind where there is going to be a data analytics apprenticeship. So this is not your usual academy, okay? This is apprenticeship in action, meaning that the normal internship we know of is people go into what do we call it? People go into the companies after learning in the academy. They go to those companies and then they learn. All right, they practice, they do what they've been taught there. And most times when they go into that company, the instructor is absent, and so they just work with whatever they see in that company. Now, there's still another challenge. A lot of persons don't have that opportunity to work in those companies. If you've tried to apply for internship here, especially that I know in Nigeria, if you've tried to apply for internship, you would probably see that it's very difficult to even give, especially data persons, because of the kind of data that companies have and the trust that is needed, to handle that. So you'd rarely see internship opportunities. And I know that a lot of graduates, a lot of people that have learned data analysis and the rest, and even those that are interested, kind of find it very difficult, going into the interview room to go and answer questions that they don't understand. Most of these companies, they ask for, what do we call it? Experience, isn't it? They ask for experience, and let's say the truth. Some of us, we try to add experiences that we did not have, so that we can qualify, right? So those things are things that this academy is trying to work on. So they're introducing a new thing that you are not just going into the classroom to learn, and then you are being thrown into a company for internship now. So what's happening here is Edmotion is introducing a company to you at the first entrance into the academy. So you are not learning in the classroom. They are teaching you inside those companies. They are not downloading the company's data set for you to work on. You are working with the company from day one as an intern, and you are not just doing it. They are using those company specific data and problems to teach you and train you, not just to be a data analyst, but to add value. So at the end of the day, the goal is to change the company, to turn the company around. So, but the thing is, it's not easy to get approvals or to get companies to open their doors to us. And it's not easy to get this kind of slots. So I'm saying us because I'm going to be part of the mentors there. All right. So I'll be handling like a lot of things there in terms of the data, storytelling, analysis, and all those stuff, because we are gathering mentors that are not just experienced analysts, but they are impactful ones, people that understand value more than just the technical skills. So the slot is open for only 50 people. All right. This amount is very cheap, actually. I think this is going to be the cheapest for this cohort. I think after the cohort, from what I learned, is going to be way more than this amount. So if you are interested, I would advise, I think there is a link somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, so there's a link somewhere, bit.ly/edmotion. Okay, so I would advise you just go down there and indicate your interests. All right, because I think when 50 persons pay, then that's the end. That's the end. So it's 4 to 6 months. There are some companies on ground now that are waiting for these persons to come on board and start, adding value to them with data analysis. Hope you understand. Yeah, if I'm going to be there, type a yes. It's like the reactions are not working. Are the reactions working? Okay, thank you, Ibrahim. So that's the bit.ly. That's the link there. Okay. Yep. Okay. All right. So hope it's going to be interesting for you guys. But this for sure, I'm very certain that you have this opportunity. You are going to be drilled, because right now my brain is even getting drained, because a lot of us are doing some brainstorming at the back end to see how we can mentor, because we have targets. Our duty is not to teach you how to build dashboard. Our duty is to teach you how to solve real problems, how to think beyond what you would type into AI and get. All right. So that's what we are trying. Those are the kind of analysts we are trying to bring out, the next generation analysts. And if we want to bring out those kind of analysts, then we have to change the model in which we are going to cook them. Okay. So yeah, some of these problems we are trying to solve, we experienced it. So this is like a free gift. 150K is very, 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 very little to what is involved. I can assure you that. Okay, so that's for the ads, and let's move straight into the business. Okay, I have a secret to share to you for free. And I think those that are attending Earlywood are just kind of listening to secrets, okay? Because this one that I spoke about, I'm not sure I'm going to talk about it again. All right, hope you got the link. Okay, so this is another secret for free, and this is where we are trying to host our webinar on. Okay, let me leak the secret. One major key to a powerful data analysis. That's the kind of secret I want to bring out. I want to just bring out, there are probably very few keys, but this is like a major key in data analysis. And unfortunately, this is the part of data analysis that most, or let me not go to most, many data analysts, including professionals, ignore. Maybe they don't know, or they just ignore. Okay. And this is what differentiates you from every other data analyst, because a data analyst is not just one who builds reports or makes beautiful dashboard. I'm sure that right in this call, we have, persons that are working in some companies as data analysts, and you can relate with something like that you have built some beautiful dashboards and all you received was wow, but nobody looked at it after then. I don't know if you've experienced it. I had experienced it and have had colleagues and friends who have experienced it. They build nice solutions, but nobody looks at it. Nobody uses it because that is the kind of source that they didn't get when they were doing those stuff. And this is what I'm trying to bring to you in this webinar for free. This is the name, data storytelling. How many of you have heard of data storytelling? How many of you have heard of data storytelling? I can't believe that people can't react. Is that still possible that people cannot react? How many of you have okay, people can. Okay, all right, okay, awesome. Okay, so you've heard of data storytelling, right? Okay, cool. Let's assume that some persons maybe or haven't, okay, few probably have. All right, that is awesome. All right, that is awesome. Now, what we are doing or what we'll be doing, going forward is in the line of that, okay? Data storytelling is a very powerful skill that even many that have probably heard it don't even understand it to its real extent. And guess what? This is what I'll be focusing on more, especially in the Edmotion apprenticeship scheme. All right. Because that's where we want to drill them to really understand data storytelling. Because if you are grounded in data storytelling, then you're already there. All right. And the good thing about data storytelling is that you don't have to be a data analyst to understand it or to use it. Okay. Because it's not about coding and all those stuff. It's about communicating the data in such a way that it's going to be fully understood according to how it is in your mind. Okay. Anyways, let's look at this analogy. People remember stories more than facts. That is true. True or true? True, right? People remember stories more than facts. And okay, let me explain this. Look at what is going on here. Imagine a Lagos market trader telling you our sales dropped by 10% last month. When a Lagos person, a Lagos marketer tells you this, or a trader, let's assume this is, 10% is that means the person really understands his or her maths, right? Okay, so just tell me in the chat what you can interpret from that statement. What do you understand by that statement? If the person tells you our sales, okay, what comes to your mind when the person says that? Yeah, so I'll just relax and enjoy the chat. What comes to your mind when somebody says our sales dropped by 10%? When you are chatting, hope you know that you could probably make a mistake and you're chatting to host and panelists. So you just go to that button to change it to everyone, all right, so that everyone can see. Okay, yeah. So someone is saying they lost 10% revenue or some. They made a loss scaled at 10%. Let's bring it up. I think the numbers we have, even half of these numbers would give us enough information to work with from the charts. So let's go, please. They made a loss scaled at 10%. Okay. Prices reduced. Yes, we can get more for less. Prices have reduced. We can get more for less. Interesting. I'm thinking we can get more for less. Okay. The patronage dropped by 10%. Awesome. Means they are making less money from selling their products or services than they did before. Nice. Lost customers. This is beautiful. Okay, let me just try and get like 2 or 3 more. Sales reduced by 10%. Okay. Yeah. Two more. Going, selling less than targets, sales dropped by 10%. Gone. All right, thank you very much. Thank you so much. New player in the game. Yeah, I like that you even put a question mark. All right. Now, can you see that these statements by this trader brought out a lot of thought process. People had to think. There was a lot of thinking caps were being won. There was people are still thinking up to now. It means demand. So, and you can see that the line of thoughts are not very much the same. Okay, some persons are thinking that okay, they are probably selling more. Some persons are thinking that they are making losses. Some persons are thinking that they are having competitors. Some persons are thinking that they are doing less than the targets they are meant to achieve. You see, this is what we do most especially when we do our data analysis. We leave the audience to think too much, and that is very bad. It's not good at all. Like, you are not meant to allow your audience to think. And the funny thing about the thinking process that your audience is going to have is they could start thinking something different from what you already had in mind. So you can see I brought out an analysis and say sales dropped by 10% last month, and everybody that is looking at it is thinking of different things. Now, you have succeeded in giving out numbers, not facts. The audience, your clients, your stakeholders need the facts. They need the story. It is story that sticks, not numbers. But this is a common error by most of us. I wish I could go further to explain dashboard reports, the limitations. A lot of data analysts feel that the ultimate data analyst is one that can build a robust dashboard. No, at all. It's not. Dashboard is even very limiting. There's something called exploratory and explanatory data analysis. All right. When you explore data, you are just showing the data. That is more like a beginner stage. And that is what dashboard focuses on the most, to explore. So your dashboard that you spend so much energy in trying to build and trying to design, it's not bad, it's needful, but I want you to understand that it is not always the most important thing. In short, most times when you create a dashboard, then you have to also add some other things to it, like your reports and all those things. And these are the things that, yeah, I will be training in the Edmotion apprenticeship, because we need to teach you how to really understand when to use a particular tool, when to use a particular product or service. Okay, so now let's go back to this. Our sales dropped by 10%. What is the problem here? This is the story. Imagine the person says, last month, a new competitor set up shop just across the street, selling at lower prices. That's why our sales dropped 10%. Okay. Have you seen this? Which one would you prefer, this or the previous one? Which one would you prefer? This or the previous one? This, right? Okay. Awesome. So you can see this is why you need to know when to use your dashboard, when to work on reports. Aside that, you need to understand what a story should be. No matter how logical a company is, a data analyst is the one that brings out the emotions from people. I didn't put it in this slide, but there are, even in biology, there's something called cortisol and oxytocin, right? Now, it will amaze you that these things are part of the psychology. These things are part of the science of data analysis. When there's crisis in the statement and all those stuff, the cortisol kind of rises, okay? And then, I don't know if I have something like that. um um oh, I didn't bring that part here because I was trying to keep things, concise. Okay, now you see that when you are understanding, when you are learning proper data storytelling, you will get to understand things about biology that you think are not necessary. You hear things like the cognitive memory. You hear things about emotions. You hear things about cortisol. You hear things about oxytocin. All those things. It's strange to many of you because you feel like this is data, this is tech. All those things are not necessary. But what you need to understand is data analysis is like a hybrid field. It is at the center of business and tech. So, but I see that a lot of persons in the data field, probably because you are now called a tech bro, a tech sis, you just forget that you are not meant to be so inclined to tech and leave business aside. There's meant to be a balance. So we end up thinking of building things instead of solving problems. Now, how do you use storytelling? The first thing you have to do is to start with a real problem from your business or community. Why are customers stopping their orders? I hear very well, even in some trainings where people say a data analyst is one that can ask the data questions. It's not entirely wrong. It is correct, but to a certain degree. You don't just jump into asking the data questions. You start by you ask questions before even seeing the data. In short, the answers to those questions should tell you the kind of data that you need to look for. So most times we go ahead and we just look at the data, then we start trying to build solutions from the data. You start trying to build graph, charts, and all those stuff from the data. So at the end of the day, we do something beautiful, but it's not useful. All right? Yeah. So you start with a real problem from your business or community. I want to rush this because I want to go to a little practical stuff. We start with a real problem from your business or community. Why are customers stopping their orders? Then you use data to tell a story about the problem. So that means a proper data analyst does not start with the data. You start with the problem, and when you have analyzed the problem, then you move into the data and try to see how you can use that data to solve the problem. Because if you start with the data, you might not recall that there is a kind of problem that you need to solve. So the data will be leading you. The data is meant to follow, not lead. All right. So don't just show tables of data hoping someone will get it. If your analysis is making people think too much, then something is wrong. Okay. Maybe you can just use that as a litmus test. So this is the common mistake people make. I just mentioned that most people start with data. That's bad. All right. So you have to ask yourself, this is the right way if you want to do analysis. You have to ask yourself, I have a problem. What kind of data analysis do I need to figure out what's causing it? You have to check out the problem. Then you now find out the kind of data analysis that is needed to figure out what causes it. Then after you have established your problem, then you can now ask, what data helps me to answer this? As simple as that. What data helps me to answer this? Okay? If you don't do this, you end up finding a problem that fits your solution instead of finding a solution that fits your problem. I should allow that to digest, right? Let me allow that to digest. Ooh. If you don't ask for the problem first and understand the problem before the data, you end up finding a problem that fits your solution. And let me use another criteria to explain. There might be software engineers among us here. I've been so much involved in entrepreneurship, and I see a lot of mistakes also happening in entrepreneurship. People focus in building the products before they go and start checking the problem. You build an app because it is nice. You build an app, you do this because you're trying to build something robust only for you to go to the market and realize that people don't need that. It's not solving their problem. There are a lot of apps on ground. In short, there are more apps than solutions right now in our society. People build so many apps, so many products, so many things, but you don't have customers. Why? Because people can only pay for something that is going to solve or quench their hunger. But when you go and start with the solution, before you now start trying to trying to force the solution into people's problems, it's not going to work. What you need to do is to discover the problem before you start building the solution. All right. I hope that entered. Okay. We'll do some practicals. Hope this is all. Okay. I think this is all. This is all. This is all. Let's head into something interesting. Okay. The case study is not here, right? So, but this is like a very it's a useful case study because it is from a live data set, a live application that I kind of built with my team. Okay, so it's for manufacturing company. Okay, so I'll just let you in. Let me stop sharing so I could probably share my entire system, and let's head into this. Okay. Let me just share my decks. Okay. All right. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Hope you can see my screen. Okay. Okay. So there is awesome. Oh man. Maybe I should stop the share for now. And let me open the data set. Where are you? Just hold on. I'm trying to get the data set so we can just start. Okay. Awesome. Yep. Awesome. Okay. So let me do this now and share my screen. Okay. All right. Hope you can see my screen again. Okay. Now I want to talk about a case study. Okay, this is extracted from a data set that is still being used, okay, by this manufacturing company. So it's an FAQ data set. So this is how it is. All right. Remember I told you that you don't start with the data, right? So this is not for us to start looking for how to answer this question. Okay. So I have like my notepad here. Okay, so I will just talk to you about it. So this company's name is Manutech. All right. Okay, so Manutech is a manufacturing company. All right, so they have this system where customers, send in questions. So we can just say FAQ. All right, so it's like an FAQ app. Okay. Let me just put questions. I don't know if there's an English like. Okay, so the customer sending questions, right? And now they try to answer that question. So it's more like a customer service for a manufacturing company. And now you want to analyze, right? You are told to, okay, so the CEO is saying, give me the dashboard for this particular thing, all right, for this product, for this app. And now the first thing you need to do is you need to find out, about what problems are they actually experiencing, because they won't just tell you to build a dashboard around it. They would have probably, when they started, it was probably possible to manage it. Most of these apps, they have their own dashboard, so they could just see from the dashboard the number of questions unanswered, all those stuff. But for you to come in, you have to do something beyond what the app shows on a normal. All right. So how do you do that? You don't just look at this data and say, oh, okay, I'm seeing this time asked, time answered. Okay, maybe I could just count the number of time people ask. Let me just count how many true, how many false. That's then you'll be populating your dashboard with so much information that are not necessary. And that's what happens. A lot of persons are so focused in putting so many things on the dashboard. That's not the aim. Even though all you can produce on your dashboard are like maybe 3 charts or 4 or 5, then it's fine. In short, a page is not meant to have so many charts or so much information, because it would be too cumbersome for the user or the client to just try to grasp. Okay, so you are meant to be concise as possible. Go straight to the point, that when somebody looks at it, the person gets the answer, the person gets the insight. So that means you have to first understand the problem. And it's not just understanding the problem. After understanding the problem, you need to prioritize those problems. Okay. The first thing for you to do is to understand the problem. After understanding that problem, you need to prioritize. You need to prioritize the problems, or I think I would call it rank the problems. Okay. Because your dashboard should not just be a place. This is dashboard I want to explain to you here. Your dashboard should not just be a place for you to dump the solution to all the problems you've discovered. You could probably discover 50 problems, but your dashboard should be a place to dump the most important problems. Okay, so you are meant to look for the most important problems and let your dashboard solve that. The most important, because a dashboard is meant to be a place for a quick look and not for people to brood and stay over for a long period. There are other things that the data analyst uses for his or her analysis. Okay, and that's where you talk about reports, where you use things like PowerPoint and the rest. Maybe I think we will have another webinar or something where we are going to do like an end-to-end session, on these tools, so you will know how to use this. So I'm just giving you an intro here to just understand the logic behind it. Okay, so we are not going to be so heavy in the technical process here, but I'm going to teach you some of those things here. Okay, we are going to do some form of technicality, but for the end-to-end process, it's going to take us a lot of time, for now. So we are going to do a workshop for end-to-end process on these tools. Okay, because you need to also understand why this tool before you implement it. Okay, so all these things are things that we need to check before we do all those things. Now, when you talk about the most important problems, okay, I know all these things you're asking it from the stakeholder. A lot of persons just get a task from this person and they don't ask. I've been in teams where they get a task and all they do is to be sitting down and start thinking of how to solve this problem, start thinking what is it, and they don't even go back to the stakeholder to try to get an understanding of what he wants. This is the problem I'm thinking, can you just can you correlate with it? Can you relate with it? Is it okay? Is this the kind of problem you have? Can you give me can you just add more flesh to the problem you just described? But when the stakeholder says, go build a dashboard, and then they just go meet their team, let's build something beautiful, something awesome, something marvelous with rainbow colors, with charts, pie charts everywhere. Hey, I have something against pie charts, but maybe we'll have something to talk about. Pie charts, 3D charts, you have to be very careful. In short, as a data analyst, you need to be running away from some of those things, especially if you are doing data storytelling. All right. Pie chart is not bad, but I think I have a thing against any chart that has food, donut charts, pie charts, and all those kind of charts. They are very difficult to really, most of them occupy space. When we go deep into the proper data storytelling, Oh, I wish you could just be part of the head motion, because these are things that we are really going to dissect. So you see that there are a lot of things that you do that are not right. It's just for fancy. Okay. You can, in data storytelling, there is a concept called less is more. All right. So, and this is a concept that does not just exist in data storytelling, even in designs and all those things, right? But a lot of us, we think that when we keep on adding to things, then it's better. We want our dashboard to become like a newspaper. Before you know, it's confusing. Is this a dashboard, a or a magazine? Like, that's not. It shouldn't be a data analyst that will do that. All right. If you want to understand dashboard, try to understand the things that our everyday things where you see dashboard. Can somebody help us? They're like everyday instruments, or will I say tools where you see dashboard. Can somebody remember? I'll give you an example. Your car has a dashboard. Who can remember another one? Who can recall another one aside from car? Or is that the only one that you know? Just put it in the chat. What other things can you hear like that this has a dashboard? A bike. Ha! This success, you are smart. I said car, you entered bike. Awesome. Yes, a bike. Yes, smartwatches, status bar on your mobile phone. Awesome. Calculator. Okay, now, thank you. So it's good that you understand these things. Can you now see that? Okay, let's imagine a car and you have so many things on that dashboard. How would you be able to drive properly? Can you see that the things on the dashboard are not really many, right? And aside that, the things on the dashboard can make you understand what is going on. For example, there is an icon for seat belt. And if that seat belt, if somebody is not wearing the seat belt, it will just show red. You just know by that color that something is wrong with the seat belt, isn't it? And you say you're not wearing your seat belt. If you see something, if you see your fuel gauge and you see that the arrow there is probably in between, you know that okay, you still have half tank. Understanding these concepts would make you understand that a lot of things in tech are borrowed terminologies from our everyday life. So dashboard is not exempted. So when you build a dashboard, know this, that a dashboard is meant to be something that when somebody looks at it, you should be able to direct the person to the exact thing, not allow the person to start thinking what this thing means. So if your chart does not give a straight direction to what it is, then something is wrong with your professionalism in data analysis. You are just a tech guy, but you are not a fully cooked data analyst. Let me not insult you, right? Let me use data storyteller, because you could be a data analyst, but probably not a data storyteller. And if you are not a data storyteller, then that is going to be dangerous, especially in this age and time. Companies want people that will add values, not people that will add tools, that will display skills. Companies not looking for people that is going to use their office spaces as a platform to showcase prowess in building things. You can build so many and the companies are not affected. All right. So yeah, so your company is not to brush your ego. All right. Okay. So these are the things, these are the processes you have to think of. You understand the problem, rank the problem, less is more. So Manutech is more like they have this customer relationship stuff, right? They want to ask, they want to understand the behavior, the activities. If their customers are being catered for properly. Now that is their major concern. This statement I just made. So this is their major concern. Maybe I should make this in. Okay. So this is their major concern. All right. They want the customer. I want to know, let's see, we want to know if our customers are properly catered for. All right. Now, this is more like a statement that seems to be like a problem statement. From this, you have to break it down, right? So the first thing is the major keyword here is catered for, right? And who are the people that we are looking at? Their customers. Okay. So next thing you are going to do is, what do you mean by our customers being catered for? These are the things that you need to understand. Just this statement is the sole essence of your dashboard. When you build a chart, when you drop a chart and it does not respond to this statement, then that chart does not have a high priority in what you are doing. So every chart that you bring first, we are going to show you the order of charts. I hope there is going to be time, but your chart is meant to show you, is meant to answer this question. You have to exhaust the chart that answers this question before you bring any kind of chart that does not even correspond with this question. Sometimes you see dashboard and somebody is talking about, you are doing a dashboard for, for maybe customer relationship and all those stuff. And then you are writing the number of employees that the company has. You are putting it there that this company has 50 employees. How does the number of employees affect the customer care person in that particular company that is looking at that dashboard? How does it affect? Because their sole essence is to relate with the customers. So they need, instead, the number of customers. It's okay for them. They don't need the number of employees, except you can connect the number of employees to the customers based on the business use case. Okay. And that's why you need to understand the business use case. I mentioned something in this process. You also need to understand, the people you are dealing with. I'll arrange these things properly. You need to understand who would be assessing, or okay, who would be using your dashboard. That's another thing. Okay, so if I want to arrange this, we are going to start with the who. Okay, we are going to start with the who. Then we are going to go to the what. Then we are going to go to the why. So who is the client? So you need to understand your client. If your client is a technical person, it explains exactly. Thank you, Vincent. We are talking of your stakeholders. Your stakeholders. Yeah. So if your client is more like, if your clients could be an analyst. Okay, your client could be an analyst. Your client could be the CEO, who is a non-technical person, right? Your client could be the HR. So you need to understand who is the person that is going to be the ultimate user of this dashboard. If you understand that person, it will also define the kind of charts you are working on. For example, this is probably this is going to be something for the CEO. The CEO does not have to be technical and all those things, okay? Then we talk about what, then we talk about why. All right. I don't intend to take so much time with you guys, okay? So maybe I'll call this the version 1 of this. Then maybe the version 2, we are going to go deep into probably more of the technical parts and the rest. But let's quickly do something related to technical. Now that we already understand what the customer wants, that's the clients. They want to know how our customers are catered for. And yeah, need to understand who will be using your dashboard. We know that is a CEO that is going to use it. Okay. Now that we know this, we understand the problem. I created this for us So where we are going to put the business goals, we are going to put the metrics, we are going to do the description and level of detail. So this is more like a template, like I promised in the flyer that I was going to do. I was going to give you some tools. All right. So these are like customized templates that we use within the Data Tribe community where we are doing some of these things, and I would introduce more of those. So I would share this to your emails. I think after the whole webinar, I'll share it with the slides, okay? So you can have access to these tools if you want to use it. So this is a sample, all right? So you're not going to think too much, okay? Now, you have to be careful that in trying to develop all these things, it's not something you just do at once. It's something that requires some level of thinking. And there's nothing stops you from using your AI tools, okay? As far as you understand what you're trying to achieve, you can ask the AI, okay, based on this business goal, what kind of metrics do I need? You know, and all those stuff. You can also put in the metrics you think. Remember that all the things we are trying to do here is to focus on, you know, this question. We want to know if our customers are properly catered for. So this is one of the things here. The business goal here is that they want to improve customer support response efficiency. Now, what is the metric? That means they need to understand the percentage of queries that are answered within 2 hours. That means there's a possibility that those questions are not answered, you know, so they want to make sure that the limits, the lowest, the maximum amount of time that a staff is going to answer a question which should be 2 hours. So anything above 2 hours, then it's not good. So that's why they want to know the number of or the percentage of the questions that have been asked. So with this now, they can set targets. Oh, we only answered 15% of all the questions this week, you know, within 2 hours. The dashboard is going to show them that very clearly. And like, okay, next week we have to hit the mark. We have to hit at least 50%. And then it brings in the energy. And let me just tell you this. If your analysis does not trigger action, if your analysis does not trigger some kind of emotions that will want to cause the company to make some decisions, then you are not exactly fulfilling the goal of an analyst. You need to do something that will make the decision makers try to use it, you know, to make decisions that will move the company. So if all that your dashboard does is just to tell the person that, oh, we have this is who we are, this is what we are, it's not enough. All right. So yeah, so these are the kind of things that, you know, makes people come back to your dashboard and try to see the dashboard. Okay, these are the percentage of queries answered within 2 hours. And then the next day they are checking if it has increased. The next day they are checking. But if you don't have these kind of things that can trigger them to work or to act, then your dashboard will just be a fancy tool in one of their archives that has no reason for them to visit. Okay? Yep. All right, so let's do something else. Now that we have established our business goal, metrics, and all those things, it is from this product that these questions we've answered now that we can now look into our data. For example, let's look at this. The percentage of queries answered within 2 hours. That means we need a data that has to do it. Let me copy this and put it here. Okay, so I have like less than 30 minutes to finish this, and I will try to do that because I need to also get questions. So please, there's a Q&A session. You can start, you know, typing in your questions if you have any. All right. So if you can't access the Q&A, please just put it in the chat and let me know. Okay. So percentage of queries answered within 2 hours. This is a metric. From this metric, this is where you now start trying to use your data. Before I check my data, based on this, what kind of data do I need? Yeah, let's go. Let's answer this. Let's do this together. It's interactive. So I want to check the percentage of queries. I don't need to check my data to see where I'm going to get this information. Just by this statement, by the metrics, I should tell myself what I need from that data. So based on this percentage of queries answered within 2 hours, what kind of data points do I need? Yes, please. Let's go. Data points that we need in the chat, please. Okay. Total number of queries. I'll just be copying them and pasting here. Total number of queries. Time questions were asked. Okay. Time. Oh, what are you? Okay. Total answered. What's going on? Yes, let's keep it coming. Keep it coming. I'll soon stop. Total answered. Queries responded to. Number of resolved queries and the timing of their answers. Okay, if I see like answers that I think have pasted something like that, I would skip. Total number of queries per hour. Okay. Total queries received. Okay, fine. Awesome. So total questions answered within the first 2 hours. Awesome. Let me copy that. That looks, yeah. Fine. This is nice. Now we have the total number of queries. Okay. The total number of queries, that's 1, right? Then we have the time. We have total answered, total questions answered within the first 2 hours. Okay, so now we can go to our data set. That means we need, if based on this, right, I would just remove this. That means we need a column that has to do with, that has the queries, right? In this case, we need a column that has to do with the question time, right? The question time, question were asked and answered. Okay, so we need 2 of them. We need question time and we need the answered time. Can you see the process just for one particular metric? The question time, right? And the answered time. We need total answered. Okay, so that's a column that has to do with the answers, because total means we are going to sum, we are going to count, you know, all the rows in that column. Okay, then we have total questions answered within the first 2 hours. So so that means we need like the, how do we bring this? Total questions answered within the first 2 hours. That means we'll need a column that shows the duration of the time it took to answer question, the duration of answer, okay, versus question asked. Oh, awesome. Yeah, duration of response. Yeah. So yeah, duration. Okay, yeah. Okay, I think this is true. Yeah, so this is not necessary to add here, because what we say the duration of answer is just because some people duration could probably mean how long the answer, you know, took place. But let's assume that this is a text, right? So it's not like a voice call that we need to calculate. So the duration of the answer is okay here. So that's why I said this thing is based on the business use case. If it was a call, this duration of answer might be misleading, because it could be that the person was answering this person for 1 hour. You know, that's duration. Okay, so yeah, but in this case, it's text. So obviously, we don't count the time it took to answer, you know, in the text. It's just once. So when we say duration, yeah, we understand that is a difference between when the question was asked and when it was answered. So this is just for this statement, percentage of query asked. Okay, let's now check the data sets. This is the data set. I'll also send the data sets to you guys. All right, so this is data sets, and let's find out. We have the first one is queries. Queries, that will be the questions, right? So we have the question dates, we have the question ID. So in short, we already have that. Even though it is only question date you have, since we want to get the total, we can just sum it and get it. We can just count this whole stuff. So the question dates, I think the questions are somewhere here. That's the title here, right? So that's fine. So we have that, right? Then we have the question time. Do we have something like that? I think we have something like that. So this is question time. So we have the hours, we have the question minutes, the hours, if it's AM or PM. So that's there, right? Then we have the answered time. The answered time. Do we have that? Yes, it's there. We have the answer, duration of answer. Okay. So now what I want to do here is, first of all, I want to create a different sheet. All right. I want to create a different sheet here. So let me just do query. Permit me to switch off my video. It's cut the bandwidth. Okay, so I'll just do this now, and I'm not sure I'll go into the dashboard, right? I'm not sure I'll go into the dashboard, but I'll just show you what the final dashboard is going to look like because of time. I'm not sure I'm even going to wait till then. Okay, so I have this is let me see if I can make this more visible to the eyes. How do we do this? Oh, it was easier when it was Windows is bird is easier. Okay. Let me not delay because of that. But you can see it, right? I usually try to zoom my things out, but I've forgotten how to do that with the MacBook. Okay, so okay, cool. So now this is a formula. Let me show you what query formula does. The query formula is more like a borrowed one from SQL that exists. This is okay. I'm using Google Sheets, right? Not Microsoft Excel. And the time will not permit me to explain to you when to use a tool or not. There are some times that Google Sheets is a better choice. There are some times that Excel is a better choice. You don't pick a tool because it has so many features. You pick a tool based on what you want to do. Okay, so because I hear a lot of things, people saying they prefer Excel because Excel has so many features. Maybe if you want to learn, that's cool. But you pick a tool because of its function, based on what you want to do. Okay, I can use Excel for what I'm doing, but I prefer to use Google Sheets. And why am I trying to use Google Sheets? Because Google Sheets, accept collaboration and all those things, right? So I could be doing this, somebody else is also looking at it. And the functions that I need to use already exist in Google Sheets. What I want to build, I can do it with all the features that exist in Google Sheets. All right. Google Sheets is free, is online, is in the cloud. I don't have to tell my manager. I don't have to tell my manager, okay, I've done this thing, and then I'll upload it to his email. And then he says, correct this particular column. Then I will correct it and upload it again to his email. All those manual back and forth are not necessary when you are using something like Google Sheets. Okay. And since majority of people have Gmails and all those things, it's easier because all these things are free to those persons using Gmail. So you see, there are reasons to use those things, and there are reasons. There are also situations where Excel is a better choice. Probably your company is a Microsoft company. Okay, they use more of Microsoft tools and all those things. Fine, Excel is one of those packages. Why would you be using Google Sheet? And it might be stressful because they are using a Microsoft email to get access to it, and some other reasons. There could be some complicated things you need to do that maybe you want to connect it with Power BI, okay, which is a visualization tool. It is easier to use the Microsoft, Excel for something like that. Okay, so yeah, so that's it. Okay, I'm using a MacBook. That is another example, and I want to do spreadsheet and the rest. If I want to use Excel, I'll have to buy. I have to pay and all those things just to use Excel to probably do some certain things. Okay, but in Google Sheet, I'll just go online and just do my stuff, and that's okay. Okay, you're laughing at me. Okay, so I guess I need to be fast here. So please, for the sake of time, this is what I would do here. I would stop it here because I know that I don't put too much load on people's brains because this is evening already. So I will stop it here, and the next webinar we are going to have we would go technical. I would take my time to teach you the different queries that are being used, the advanced formulas, how to work with nested formulas. I don't know if I could pick up a formula also, just like maybe I do something is simple here. Let's say I'm doing, please forget about this, okay? Just forget about this. I'm going to bring this in the next webinar. What did I do here? Okay. So, yep. So let me just quickly do something here. Now for this, I want to bring up something that has to do with, so I'll call this SLA response. Okay, I'll call this SLA response. And what it means is that I want to check which one is more than 2 hours, right? Okay. So let me do this. I'm trying to rush it here, but don't worry, I'm going to teach you guys this. Let me see if I have the dashboard somewhere. Okay, so this is going to be the end of the dashboard, right? This is the dashboard. Oh, my stuff has broken. Okay, that's because okay, so let's see. Okay, I'm going to restart this. Press the data. Please don't do this to me. Okay, I want to refresh this data. Yeah. So this, I wish I could show you this dashboard, but the reason is because I had kind of tampered with things here that is feeding the dashboard. And my beautiful dashboard that you would have so loved has just gone into Elysium. Okay, so no problem. So probably it's just telling me that we just need to call it a day, all right? So the next time I'm gonna, okay, I would probably do this and add it as a screenshot, and send it to your emails to see like the product of it. So in the next webinar, we are going to work on these things, okay? In the next webinar, we are going to work on these things. All right, so I will just use the little time to answer questions, okay? So it's not easy to mix technical with this, so I'll just do technical separate. The next webinar, I promise you it's going to be like an end-to-end for, I'll tell you why and when to use these tools, and then we'll get into using it. So even though you're kind of novice in spreadsheets, we are going to start with spreadsheets, right? So I'll just do like a brush up, a fast track, where I'll teach you how to demystify certain things. Okay, you could see some kind of, let me show you something. Yeah, you could see this kind of formula. It is so clumsy. It's plenty, but don't worry. You'll see that at the end of that webinar, this is going to be like a walk in the park. This is called nested formula, but you don't just start typing it. You start from somewhere and then you build. So we're going to learn all the logic behind all these things, that what array formula is and when it's useful and why. So we are going to do all those things in the next webinar. So just stay tuned. You can join the data tribe. Yeah, you can join the data tribe. The link is here. Okay, bit.ly/data tribe. Okay, so you can join the data tribe and the rest then, so that you can get info of when the next webinar is going to be. Or the friend that probably introduced you to this, maybe just hold him or her tight to get the next information. Okay, so do we have anything in the question section? I have Q&A. What are the most important things to know to be a top data analyst? All right, so the most important things to know, can someone who just finished DST register for the Edmotion apprenticeship? Okay, I would answer you now. What are the most important things to know to be a top data analyst? It is good to know the tools. That is one, but I don't really talk much about those things because everybody teaches tools. So you go through an academy and then you are good with tools. So I keep that aside. But if you want to stand out from the ocean of data analysts that exist, you need to understand business principles. Yes, that is like hard to chew. You need to read books about business, not just about technical tools. All right. Time did not permit me to explain to you the meaning of design thinking in data analysis. That's a concept that people use to build products, all right, in software engineering and in business as entrepreneurs. Every process for design thinking is the same with the kind of process you need, empathy, ideation, and all those stuff. So you need to understand business. And most important is what I just told you, data storytelling is one of the most important skills you need to have right now in data analysis. If you take your time to learn it and understand it, then it's fine. You can also register for the Edmotion apprenticeship. We are going to be very heavy on data storytelling. Yeah. So, okay, it's like someone is asking about this, the entrepreneurship part. Okay, so let me just put that up so you can just see the link in case you need. Yep. I think I just have two questions. So I've answered one. The next is, can someone who just finished DST register for the Edmotion apprenticeship? Actually, you are even the best candidates. We are, you could, if you are learning for the first time, trying to understand data analytics for the first time, like you don't know the tools at all, it's just from a zero level, it's open, but our major is going to be very intensive for you, because you need to be learning the tools alongside working with companies, with all the things. You are attending meetings, with the companies, understanding, different things and the rest. So it's going to be cumbersome on you to a certain level, except you are really willing to put in the best. But for you who have just finished DA, you are more than ready to be part of the data analytics apprenticeship. Okay. So you come in and we fix you in, and then we brush up your tools, and then we'll teach you the exact things that are needed to develop value. And we are thinking of, having a real-time stuff, that's when you come out, you are putting those experiences in your CV. They are verifiable companies that even though companies call them, they are going to accept that, yes, you worked with them. Yeah, because they are going to get values from it. So we are like data consultants to those companies. And so, yeah, so you are very much welcome to be part of that system. Yeah, that's all. Is it a physical class?
You have
no,
another message in the chat, sir. There's another message in the yeah.
Okay, I will check that. Thank you. So it is 100% remote. It's 100% remote. Yeah, it's not physical. We don't have physical classes yet, but this is going to be 100% remote. Okay, can I apply for the DA internship while still on ALX DS course? Wow. It's hard to swallow. So the thing is, yeah, there is a possibility for that. There is a possibility for that, but it all depends on you. If you are probably in an academy already and you want to be part of this, it all depends on you if you are going to have that bandwidth to accept this, because this is going to be a very intensive course. There is no excuse for, please, I'm trying to, we are going to try as much as possible to break it down to the smallest, level possible. Okay. And so you are going to really understand it. That's for sure. I'm very certain about that. So it all depends on your readiness to absorb these things. Okay. We're going to teach you others. So if you think that you can combine both courses together, these and that, then fine. Who am I to stop you? You can definitely apply. Okay. So because you're going to have mentors one-on-one for your squad, it's going to be very organized. It's going to be like a work setting. You're going to learn other things. You are going to pass through interviews. Okay. Before we even put you into those companies, we train you for the interviews, then you test run the interviews, you get your job description, everything that happens in a company, join them, have meetings, and we are with you in those companies to train you with those data sets. At the end of the day, the goal is not to build things. The goal is to make sure that as you are finishing this apprenticeship, you've added value to that company. Something that the company did not know, the company now knows. Something that the company was struggling to get, the company can now get because of your presence there. So that's the aim, because we know that it's possible. We've tested it, we've tried it, all right? And this is the first cohort. So there's going to be a lot of, allowances for certain things, all right? Yep, hope I've answered that question. Will you train us on how to use DA tools like SQL? Oh, definitely you are using using your DA tools. Now that is another concept you need to understand, that it's not just about the tools, okay? It's not just about the tools. You know why? Because you can get you get this real experience that you get into some academies or some companies and realize that all you need to do your data analysis proper in that place, the only tool that makes sense there is Google Sheets. You could go to another place and see that Python is needed. So we are going to work with you based on the tools that are needed to solve those problems in those companies. Then we are going to have resources that is going to teach you, other tools. We are going to, there's going to be a flip anyway. There's a plan according to the academic structure that you would also learn other, maybe there's going to be a shuffle to another company that has a different kind of, business model from the other one, so that you can also have like variety of business cases that you've solved. Okay. So it depends on what problem you are solving. Then we teach you the tools. The major thing is there are so many tools out there, but you need to understand the logic. Why should I use Looker Studio instead of Power BI? We are going to answer that. Why should I use Power BI instead of Looker Studio? There are other dashboard stuff. There's Tableau, there's QuickSight, and all those things. So it's not, we are working on the tools, but the major thing is on that logic that is going to set you apart. All right. So tools is not even a problem for us. All right. Yeah. Yep.
There's another
During the
question
program,
in the chat box.
okay, during the program, would participants of the apprenticeship have a body who could guide them throughout the program in cases where they are lagging behind? That is beside the mentors. Yeah, so it's going to be like a teamwork kind of thing. So it's going to be a squad. And it's going to be like in little groups, right? You have a squad you can relate with. Although there are some companies that probably just want one person for a unit and all those things. So, but even at that, we have a way to make it still bring out the teamwork in it. Okay. So yes, that is because it's all part of the experience, to relate with people. And that's why we are using a controlled number, 50 spots, just 50, so that it can be managed properly and you can relate with each other as a team. Okay, so you could just discuss certain things, and this other person, even though it's from another team, is working on it. Some of you could be in a company that would require like 4 to 10 teams. There are companies like that require like a large set of analysts because of the number of clients they are working with, and you would want to they'll want us to add value to each of those clients. So we might just distribute some clients to each person so that you can spend your time on focusing on few clients. Yeah. So, but in the entire company, you could have even up to 12 squads. Okay. So you are in squads, and then there's a mentor for that squad, and then there's a general mentorship level. So it's academy joined with apprenticeship. Okay, that's how we're doing. Yep. I think that is all. That is all. So thank you very much, everyone. And I think I'll send the link to you guys. It should be like, maybe we'll post it on YouTube, and then we can proceed from there. Okay, so just stay glued to your friends, the tribe, and the rest, so that you get information. It could be next week for the next webinar. It depends on the time. It could be upper week, but it's not going to be far from here. Maximum maybe 2 weeks time. Okay, so we are going into the technical parts in the next ones. All right, thank you very much, and thank you so much for staying with us till this very time. I will share the link for all this information, the YouTube handle, and all those things to you via the email. I think I have the list of your emails when you registered. Okay. All right. Have a beautiful weekend, and till we meet. Bless ya.